Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. Aaron Donald, is he coming back? Plus, 2 Rams made their way to the top 100 so far. And later, do I have any favorite kicker moments? And other fan quesos. Let's rock.
Welcome to Rams Showcase.
And now, here's your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome to Rams Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Bags, at Rams Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you follow along on the internet. Also, one half of both horns. You can check that out a few times a week. Streamed live on the First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Rams Showcase Facebook page. So make sure you check us out there. We're going to be starting to really ramp up into the season. Start doing more than just the 2 days a week. We'll probably bump up to 3 and then 4 and then 5, maybe daily, maybe more. Dude, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that's a lot. It's a lot of us in your life, and I know some of you want it. Some of you, it's a little much. Understood. But that's with Tuna and myself right now, Monday and either Thursday or Friday, kind of depending on what's happening this upcoming week. Probably not Thursday, considering that live episode of Rams Revealed happening. And I'm guessing we want to watch, okay? At our core, we're still just Rams fans, all right? So we also want to intake that kind of good stuff. We'll get into some news stuff here about Puka Nacua, some absurdness of one of these websites that just continues to be absurd, I suppose. And then also some quick Braden Fisk info. We'll get into fan cases on the back end. I'm hoping they're all relevant. I did do this post like 3 weeks ago, so this is my bad coming in so late into your life for a next episode of Rams Showcase, but I'm sure it'll be A-okay. I don't remember what it was now, but I did delete one bit of news because I was like, that's irrelevant now. That's old school, man. So we'll be getting into it, though. But first, let's talk about Aaron Donald, man. Is Aaron Donald going to return? Well, first, I hope so. And second of all, I'm really starting to think so, too. All right? It's feeling like a real possibility. Everybody seems to have an opinion on Aaron Donald returning and what that could even mean for the team, for him, for the rest of the NFL. Opinions abundant, though. But I think that if Aaron Donald returns, Aaron Donald returns. I hope that makes sense to you. Aaron Donald is probably mentally ready to go, and I think that's why he's even testing out his body, which I think is a very important aspect of all this. I think that if somebody like an AD wants to return to the football field, is he going to be okay with doing it in a limited capacity, not really helping that much? Third down and fourth quarter is kind of your spot, man. I'm just not totally sure. If Aaron Donald comes back, I'd expect him to have a bit of a ramp-up period where maybe, those first 5-6 weeks, it is thirds and fourth quarters and stuff like that. But I feel like Aaron Donald, being Aaron Donald after so much of that into the season, I don't think that that's just the way it would stay. I feel like by mid-season, he would just be a full-time starter. And is anybody going to be upset about that? I really don't think so. But if Aaron Donald doesn't return, because there's still 2 possibilities in this universe right now. This is still Schrodinger's Aaron Donald. We don't know if he's coming back or not, but 2 universes do exist in this scenario, and one is Aaron Donald returning, one of them's not. If Aaron Donald does not return to the Rams, then the Rams will still be a pretty damn good football team, man. Hinging, our Super Bowl hopes do not hinge on Aaron Donald. The Rams are not hoping that they're a good football team if Aaron Donald returns. The Rams are a damn good football team and might be able to add an Aaron Donald into it. And that's the plus of that. But if he doesn't return, Kobe Turner, Poona Ford, Braden Fisk, Ty Hamilton, Tyler Davis, Tim Keenan, just some names out there on this defensive line right now. We will be just fine if Aaron Donald does not come back to this roster. These are killers out here, man. But it feels a lot like he is, all right? All indicators are pointing to Aaron Donald making his return to the field. It's gotten to that point where if Aaron Donald doesn't return, the story is so prevalent in this offseason that if Aaron Donald doesn't return, wildly anticlimactic and kind of a bummer because of the story that this has become. And I understand it, but it's one of those things where if now it comes out and he's like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm good. I'm still good. I feel okay with what I did. I'm not coming back. It would be a little bit like, all right, dude, come on, man. Like, you can't do this to us the whole off season, be playing with our emotions like this and then just not do it. So wildly anticlimactic if he decides not to, but it does feel like a return is coming. But how does it happen? How will this announcement come into our lives? If I had to guess, it would be Aaron Donald revealing it by himself on his own social media accounts. I don't think that it would be a Rams release. I don't think it would be a podcast reveal. I don't think it would be anything like that. I think it would be Aaron Donald posting a video or posting something kind of clever or fun on socials with just something about like coming back or returning or something like that. I really think that's how it would go. There's a lot of chatter of it happening at the Between the Horns live event that's happening this upcoming week on the 23rd. That doesn't feel real to me. I'll be completely honest. If Aaron Donald does announce at the event, then the uniform reveal that is happening at that kind of becomes second level news that doesn't get, it just gets shoved down. Uniform releases now mean nothing. And we're anticipating that the uniform release is going to be something that they're kind of proud of. They're excited to share this with the fans. I think that's why this is the first time in a long time we've actually gotten a heads up on the reveal happening, is because I think that the team sitting there, Kevin Demoff and Tony Pastores and the gang, are sitting up there and thinking like, no, this is going to be good. Like they're going to be excited about this, So I think that taking an Aaron Donald return announcement and partnering it in with an announcement of new uniforms where, again, we don't know for sure at this time what these are, but all indicators are that we're getting like a throwback style yellow jersey and then like a throwback style blue and white jersey, which is phenomenal. But again, the team's not going to want to push that news down to hype up Aaron Donald. Or would they? You know what I mean? That's the thing, too, with this team, is that, like, what if they're too worried about the fan reaction to the uniforms and, like, screw it. Let's just do Aaron Donald at the same time so that nobody freaks out about these uniforms. They're still at least excited about Aaron Donald returning. You know what I mean? I also don't think that's impossible. I do think a lot less likely, though, in my own opinion. I think that if the Aaron Donald or if the 23rd event, that Between the Horns live event, did include anything to do with Aaron Donald, I think it's because he announces a day or two ahead of time. I think that we would know on the 21st or the 23rd, and then it kind of becomes this like, okay, now we get the uniforms, and hey, you guys have been talking about it the last few days. Let's bring him out here. Aaron Donald talking about his return, and then he's, hyping up some stuff as we come back. But I do think that that's how it would go if the Between the Horns live event has anything to do with Aaron Donald. I'm guessing then we would know within just the next few days, because right now, as time of recording, it is 719 day. That's just my local day. It's July 19th, and I live in 719. So it's a big day out here, I suppose. But we'll know within, I think, a couple of days if the 23rd event has anything to do with Aaron Donald. But I'll be honest, I don't think it does. I think that we'll learn after the Between the Horns event, if he does come back, of course. All this to be said, though, if Aaron Donald does return, what does this mean now, too? So this does mean that a roster spot gets taken by Aaron Donald instead of someone else. Who could that be? The hit could go into a different group, but I would guess it would be on the defensive line. This could be a Ty Hamilton, a Des Johnson, a Tyler Davis. Good players who we don't want to get cut because of a move like this. We would want to see these guys stick around, but that's just kind of what it is, man. That's how you build a football team. If you think that you can get better at a position group, and we've seen the Rams do this a billion times, if you think you can get better at a position group, you're okay to let go of a guy you really like to be able to facilitate that. We've seen that recently with two big trades within the last X amount of years. What is that? Was it 5 years or so that we've had? Jared Verse is not a bad player by any means, but we got better with Myles Garrett. Jared Goff is not a bad player by any means, but we got better with Matthew Stafford. So if we have to lose a Ty Hamilton because we're getting back Aaron Donald, who's really going to be upset about that outside of Ty Hamilton and family? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we like Ty Hamilton. We don't want Ty Hamilton to leave. We think that he can develop into a good player. But Aaron Donald's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, I don't understand, I guess, the thought process on like, well, this is unfair to these guys on the roster right now. It's like, well, sure. But like, that's what building a football team's all about, dude. Like this, if somebody gets booted off the roster because an Aaron Donald returns, well, that's a lot better than somebody last year getting booted off the roster because Troy Reeder needed to return. So I guess I just don't understand that argument entirely. The fact that like we're going to lose a low level guy because Aaron Donald returns, like, well, so be it, man. Like, and then maybe that guy gets to go be, up higher on a depth chart somewhere on a different squad that needs defensive linemen. And it's not always a bad thing for these guys too. And also, we are the ones that want everybody to be Rams. A lot of these guys were not Rams fans, like that's not a thing. They're Rams fans today because they play for the Rams, and that's who's paying their bills and stuff. They're signing checks and stuff. But I mean, we know that a lot of these football players, Cooper Kupp was literally a Seahawks fan. It's largely his career was spent trying to defeat them. You know what I mean? So that's the thing too, is that like we don't know if booting off a Tim Keenan, which I don't think it would be him or anything like that, but like a Tyler Davis, I don't know what Tyler Davis' favorite football team is. It might be like the Panthers or something like that. Maybe he's more thrilled. Maybe he's like, yeah, it'd be a cool chance to win a Super Bowl here, but now I get a chance to go play for my favorite football team as a kid, and I get to be a starter. You know what I mean? So it's not always as negative as it seems too. It's also my point there. If Aaron Donald comes in and boots somebody off the depth chart, yeah, that sucks, dude. We like good players to be on the Rams, but it might work out. Okay, it's also a possibility. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that person never gets signed again, and it ruins their entire career. Damn. But we got Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? I'm not hoping that's what happens to anything, but I think too, it's like we didn't want to lose Jared Verse, but we got Myles Garrett out of that deal. You know what I mean? Like if we were to trade Ty Hamilton to somebody for Aaron Donald, who's out here going to be like, this is ridiculous, dude? Like Ty Hamilton's on the way up. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to be that mad about it. All the indicators were that like, it's like people were like, damn, I really like Jared Verse. But holy moly, man, Myles Garrett's coming to town. A lot of people were like, dude, I love Jared Goff. I think he's an awesome quarterback. But it was like, you know what, though? This Matthew Stafford guy's coming to town. He seems to be pretty damn good. But I think that's kind of what we're looking at right now. The chain reaction of it does exist, but we can't pretend like adding an Aaron Donald is a bad thing for your football team. Everything is good if you add an Aaron Donald onto your football team, even if he is limited. He's still going to have a huge impact. And I think that's a key of it too. And I know there's stories of guys and incredible players, Hall of Fame level players who left and then came back and they just weren't quite the same. And sure, Aaron Donald's not going to be, he's not going to just plug and play and he's just the same exact guy, obviously. But how good can he be? And 80% Aaron Donald's still an all-pro. 70% Aaron Donald's still a damn good football player. You know what I mean? So you pair that in with a Myles Garrett, with a Byron Young, a Kobe Turner, a Braden Fisk, a Puna Ford. That's where the magic is, man. It's not that Aaron Donald needs to come in and be your only badass defensive lineman. He has the ability to come in and just be massively helpful, taking eyeballs away, man. If Myles Garrett's getting double blocked and Aaron Donald they want to put an extra set of hands on him too. Well, guess what? Single blocks for Kobe, for Byron, for Braden. I mean, that's a good thing, man. That's a very good thing. The information that I think that matters in this situation is working out with the team. That's absolutely huge. That to me is testing his body. That tells me that mentally he's like, you know what? I do want to play some football again. Let me see, though, if my body can handle it, because I think that Aaron Donald's too competitive to come back and be a bad player. I don't think that that's necessarily on the table, but I think that he's not going to want to come in and I don't think that this would be his mindset, but tarnish that legacy. I don't think that that's what the mindset would be for an Aaron Donald, but I do think that that's what the perception of that situation would be for an Aaron Donald is like, oh, now, yeah, he was one of the best in the league of all time, but that time he came back, and is that fair? Probably not. I don't think it's reasonable, but also does he kind of think about that and it's like, you know what? No, I'm good, man. I left on the top. I don't want to let the NFL see me not at the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? That's also an entire possibility. But I think that working out with the team is a big indicator of he is wanting to test it out and feel it out, see how he can be. Because I think that if Aaron Donald returns, he's going to want to still embarrass some people. I don't think he's going to want to come back and just be a good player. He's going to want to make grown men look like children again, because that's what he used to do all the time. And it's absolutely phenomenal and so much fun to watch. So that's why we all hope we get to see it again. You know what I mean? But testing out his body, that tells me he wants to play. I just don't think he'll play limited. I really don't. I know that's a big story right now, and people talking about like, well, what's his snap count going to be? He's obviously going to be limited. It's like, but is he though? Is he? Is Aaron Donald going to play limited? I don't know if he would want to. Let's also not forget, 35 years old is not like the youngest NFL player, obviously. But it's also not over the hill for a defensive lineman who now we can say that, taking some time off, now he's cooked, he's done, he's not in football shape and all that stuff. Or we can take the approach because he's Aaron friggin' Donald, a space robot sent to the earth to destroy the souls of quarterbacks, that maybe he's more fresh than he's ever been. Maybe he's more fresh than he's been since 2014. You know what I'm saying? Entirely possible out here. But 70% Aaron Donald, still a very good player. I'm not sure if a 70% Aaron Donald even does return, because I think that that's what it is too, is that Aaron Donald's testing out his body and he's going to listen to his body. I think that Aaron Donald's one of those guys who's not going to come in and just be like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go. I'm going to play. I'm just going to, I'll figure it out later kind of thing. I think he's going to kind of want to know, like, am I ready for this? Because he left. He did the whole thing. It's not a tour of like, hey, yes, I didn't really get a chance to say goodbye. That's not what this is. It's him coming back trying to win another ring, which I think is not impossible. Okay. But I think working out with other NFL players, giving tips, I think is relevant. I think that testing out his body is extremely relevant. He left the NFL because he was full. He felt complete. Not that his body was failing him. And I think that that's an important indicator. I think that Aaron Donald is milking the situation quite a bit, as I think I probably would too. But I also think that he really doesn't want to return if he's not going to be one of the best. And I think that that's why Aaron Donald's taking so long, is because he really wants to be sure. And I also think that there's a big part of him that doesn't want to say yes and then like come week 2 be like, I lied. I'm not feeling it. I'm not the same guy. I think that that's a thing too, is that he wants to make sure that, you enter this building, you sign on this line here, and it's till February. It's not until October, and you're like, oof, can't do it. And I thought I could, turns out can't. So I think that that's kind of part of it too. So take your time, Aaron Donald. Take your time on the decision. It's only July. We don't got football games right now. We got football games in about 2 months. That's fine. Okay, that's fine to return when that happens. Okay. I also do think he would return for training camp if that is what happens, though. But listening to his body, and if that's the case and he decides not to return, I trust that his body told him that he wouldn't be the same. Even if he would have been dominant, I understood. I understand. Will have understood. That if that's what he decides, that I will be able to look in retrospect and be like, all right, it's okay. Even though I feel like this is wildly anticlimactic if he doesn't return. But if he doesn't return and he doesn't feel like he could be as dominant as he was, I totally get it. If that's the case, then the Rams have, Myles Garrett, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Puna Ford, absolute killers out here. Ty Hamilton, Tyler Davis, some absolute monsters. If Aaron Donald does return, then they've got Aaron Donald, a first ballot Hall of Famer with 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Myles Garrett, a first ballot Hall of Famer with 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. No one's ever had 5. I've never fact checked that, but it just feels too insane to not be accurate. So I'm not gonna. Byron Young, 84 on the NFL's top 100, who just broke double-digit sacks for the first time, seems to be getting better every single year. This dude's an absolute killer. Kobe Turner, an absolute beast in the middle, just got crazy high praise from Gray Zabel on a podcast. A rival, Gray Zabel, Super Bowl winner Gray Zabel on a podcast. It's like, dude, Kobe Turner gives me fits, man. He is hard as hell to deal with, man. And then talking about how good of a dude he is, too. Absolutely phenomenal. Puna Ford, a beast in the middle, who just got crazy high praise from Brian Baldinger. Talking about he's unblockable. Undrafted guy, but he's unblockable. That's why he's still playing after all these years. My point is, we are elite without Aaron Donald. We are eliter with Aaron Donald. Do I hope he comes back? Obviously. Do I think he comes back? I do. If he doesn't come back, well then, you know what? You got nothing else to prove to me or to us. or to yourself, you did everything, man. Enjoy your retirement. You're good. But also come back. Because who knows? Quick break here before we get into our quick little news segment here before Fan Quesos. Just wanted to take a second here, give a bit of a live read to Both Horns. Tuna and myself created Both Horns last off season. It used to be Tuna and the Sheriff. Now it is Both Horns. I'm producing a song for it right now, so that'll be really fun. That'll be uploaded. I don't know exactly when. It's Sunday right now, and I'm not at my friend's house finishing the song, so probably later this week. But either way, Both Horns has been such a fun show, man. We've created such a little fun little community there now. We got some really good people hanging out with us every time. It's a live show, so it's a little bit different atmosphere from this. Because we get to interact live. I don't see your comments in real time here. I'm recording by myself. I got Carl sleeping on a chair over here. Very low key, on this side of it. It's a Sunday at 3 p.m. Just chilling, you know what I mean? But Both Horns is live a few days a week. Gonna be ramping up, might be daily in season. Which is going to be really fun. But Tuna has become one of my best friends for sure. The conversations I have with him, not even football related stuff, have, definitely crept up into just, this is for sure one of my best friends. Like getting into like best man territory if I ever, get there, but but seriously, man, that's Tuna is an absolute powerhouse out there in Los Angeles. And very stoked to be partnered in with him. But the show itself, man, is so much fun. I don't like to try to brag on myself or anything like that or anything that I do, but it does feel like just I don't know how to say it without trying to sound braggy, man, but it feels like we have a really good interaction on the show, and we get a lot of good information out there. We get a lot of just good back and forths going. We don't always just agree on everything. Check it out for yourself though, man. Both Horns live right now, Monday and Thursday or Friday. But we'll be ramping up as we get closer into the season. Preseason will be ramping up a lot more, stuff like that. So make sure you come check us out there. First and Tuna Podcast YouTube channel, Ram Showcase Facebook page, and available where you listen to your favorite podcasts. Just find Both Horns. So check it out. Let's get into the news, though. Kyren Williams lands on 89 on the NFL's top 100 list. I know this news has been out for a bit, but I have not been here since. So we're just going to hype up K-Dub for a little bit. K-Dub with the 1252 on the ground, 10 rushing touchdowns, 6th in yards, 9th in touchdowns, 3rd in first downs. That 3rd and first downs I think is absolutely phenomenal. In tight spaces, man, he could absolutely win in a phone booth. Love to see that. Clear respect from his peers and the other team's fans. It seems like Rams fans are the group that think that this ranking is too high, which I think is rather interesting. Of all the groupings, whether it's NFL, people in the NFL, whether it's opposing fans or it's Rams fans, feels like Rams fans are the ones that seem to overall have the lowest opinion about Kyren Williams, which I think is wildly entertaining. It's unfortunate because you got to think from Kyren's perspective. I mean, if I was sitting here at Kyren, and he grew up a Rams fan, so that's one of the things, the little twists into that one, but I mean, there'd be a little piece of me that's like, they don't even like me here, dude. I want to go somewhere where they hype me up, bro. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. But a career high 36 receptions and 281 receiving yards, but doesn't pop on the stat sheet. What doesn't pop on the stat sheet is the pass protection. He's absolutely phenomenal at pass pro, one of the best in the NFL, if not the way up there. Byron Young also lands on the top 100 at number 84, 12 sacks, which was a career high, tied for 8th in the league, led the Rams, 22.2% pressure rate. So about a quarter of the time, just under a quarter of the time, he is impacting the pass, which is good stuff there. BY has shown what I refer to as maniac tendencies. This kid is absolutely phenomenal at football. It's good stuff, man. Tied for 19th in the NFL for tackles for a loss. Also saw his first Pro Bowl this year. Now enters the season where we all know he's pretty damn good, but he gets a Hall of Fame player to be opposite of him. And Jared Verse was no slouch on the opposite end, but having a Myles Garrett over there, holy moly, man, that's crazy. And possibly could be getting another Hall of Famer into that rotation as well. Braden Fisk brings Fisk Family Fun Day back to Michigan City, and we missed this story as it was ramping up. I didn't hear about it until after the fact, so I wanted to hype it up here now for you, and hopefully we'll remember next year so that we can re-hype this. But this event is expected to become annual, and this year took place at Ames Field in Michigan City, and it's got some pretty sick stuff, like free bounce houses, food trucks, and other entertainment. They give away free haircuts, which I'm against. I think haircuts are evil and for only dorks. But if you are one of those dorks who likes haircuts, then Fisk Family Fun Day in Michigan City. Get your haircuts out of here, man. That's for nerds. Next up, Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua he's had quite the offseason, man. Pretty weird one here. Recent reports, though, are overwhelmingly positive with the standout wide receiver, and his offseason programs seem to have helped out a ton. Reports are that Puka has been journaling. As expected, the internet has taken their chance to make jokes, but hey, if it's keeping Puka on the straight and narrow and in position to have a killer season, then I'm supportive of everything. Do your thing, dude. Journaling is actually one of those things. It's unfortunate that gets made fun of because like we're in like this macho universe, but it's actually super helpful. I think if you're having a hard time, try it for like a week and just see how you feel, and then see if you still just want to rip apart our boy Puka because he's out here just trying to be a good dude, man. Pretty crazy, but lots of talk about the upcoming contract Puka could see and when that could happen. With wide receiver contracts getting pretty nuts right now, earlier could be in the best interest of the Rams, but the team doesn't like to take scary chances anymore. You get situations, and it could be not, personality related, but just, injury related. You saw it with like a Todd Gurley gets paid and then his knee just explodes, and that's just really unfortunate. But if they trust Puka, they'll pay him. If they're worried, they'll wait for as long as possible, and we could see some tags in there. But Puka was recently asked if he wants to play for the Rams, and he said that's the plan. So all indicators are that the Rams want him to stay, that he wants to stay, so we'll probably be able to figure something out there. I'm guessing an incentive-laden contract, something that is very along the lines of just, being out of the news, being out of the headlines, not doing all this wacky stuff, man, but it does feel like Puka Nacua is kind of just narrowing in a little bit more. And I think he kind of realized before it was too late that like, this path that you're currently on of just going out and having fun, which, hey, do your thing, bro. Do your thing. But we're here for the football part of it. That's what I'm here for. It does feel like he's zoning in a little bit more and kind of locking in on that, which is definitely not a bad thing. Definitely not a bad thing. And I just wanted to give a word to the wise here. Just because Sports Illustrated puts out a list doesn't mean it means anything or has any value. I'm looking at you too, ESPN. Sports Illustrated rated the Rams' uniforms as the worst in the NFL. Just one dude's opinions. On the flip side of that, Sports Illustrated also rated the Rams as the best pass rushing duo in the NFL with Myles Garrett and Byron Young. Just one dude's opinion. Also don't care. Recently did an article about the Seahawks not caring about the Rams getting Myles Garrett. Okay. It's a reporter asking the Seahawks. I want to know what happened there. I want to know what that conversation sounded like, man, because y'all sound dumb right now for making this an article. All right. So what did the reporter ask? And who is the Seahawks, right? So who was the question to? And then also just the fact of like, was it like, hey, what do you think about the Rams getting Myles Garrett? They're like, yeah, we can't really care about that. We're just trying to be a good football team on our end. That's lazy reporting and for a meatless story. Bad reporting, lazy reporting for a meatless story. What the hell are they supposed to say? Are you supposed to ask the Seattle Seahawks like, hey, Rams got Myles Garrett. How do you feel about that? And they're going to turn to you and be like, this is not going to be good. We're actually terrified. This is going to be terrible for us. Stupid reporting, man. That's like that's my gripe on that. Right now, my Sports Illustrated bash session. We're going to keep it short because it doesn't need to be much longer than that. But I think that what WWJD, dude. That's what would Joe do? All right, when you read an article of like a ranking or something like that, it's like, well, just think to yourself, what would I say about that? Is it stupid and irrelevant and pointless? Probably. And then you can piggyback on that emotion if you want to. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. If you want to get riled up by just one dude being like, these uniforms are terrible, actually, then cool, that's fine. But I'd say just screw that guy, man. And on the flip side of that, it's like, what are we supposed to do with that? It's like, but we're the best pass rushing duo according to Sports Illustrated. Okay, but that doesn't like start us at 1-0 because of who cares, man? We just got to go play some football and win some damn football games. I don't care what people are ranking us in July. Doesn't matter. They're not going to like look at the playoff race and be like, well, hold on. These two teams are tied. So let's go back to Sports Illustrated and see what they said in July. And then we'll give that person the higher seed. Nobody does that. Nobody cares. All right. That's just my little gripe session. This has been Venting with Sheriff Joe Bags. We'll take a quick break here on the other side. We got your fan quesos. Hang tight. It's Ram Showcase. Welcome back in, Ram Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Bags. We're going to get into your fan quesos. These are just Rams-related questions. You can fire them off to me. We make a post on the Ram Showcase YouTube channel as well as the Ram Showcase Facebook page, so you can drop them there. We are getting to the point. I did have like a weird few weeks here as just life kind of got crazy, but we are ramping into weekly, so be sure to check on those. Or if you want to fire off any questions via socials, you can do that as well. We're going to start here on the Facebook page. First few here are coming from Farbod. It says, Canes fan here, so I'm a little biased, I'll admit, but all this talk about signing a big-name wide receiver 3 is nonsense. We drafted our wide receiver 3 in my guy CJ Daniels. Bet he's going to ball out with us and potentially even replace Devontae next year as wide receiver 2. Have you had the time to watch his tape? That catch against Notre Dame? If so, could you see my prediction coming true? Oh, and if you do end up answering this on the pod, nice. Far boat. Nice. I love that, man. Far boat with so far bode. Gotcha, man. Far bode. Appreciate you being here, man. I have not seen this name pop up before, so dude, thanks for hopping into the fan quesos here, man, and appreciate you being here, man, and being a supporter of the Ram Showcase. But let's dive into your question here. Do I feel like your prediction will be true of CJ Daniels becoming wide receiver 2 by next year? That's tough for me because also we're in July before rookie season. Maybe this question will be easier for me to answer come like week 8, 9, 10, 11, something like that, or maybe even after this season, because also with the way that the Rams have utilized rookies in the last X amount of years under basically Sean McVay, not often do a lot of them get a lot of playing time. So I'm not sure if we'll see enough of CJ Daniels for me to say like, oh yeah, this guy's going to take over. He's going to, he's going to take an elevator to the top of the depth chart, just in one season kind of thing. So that I'm not sure of. For wide receiver 3, I like CJ Daniels, dude. I definitely have dove into the research of CJ Daniels. Luckily, this year was super easy for our draft class because it was like nobody. And so we only had a couple of picks. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I did dive in, and I mean, this kid's phenomenal. I think he's really good. I think he's one of the underrated wide receivers in our room right now. But I think that Konate Mumpfield is one of those guys who's really going to start to pop off this year. Witt is one where I'm really curious to see where he's at this year. We've kind of been talking about that. It's like, I need to see that massive improvement. You don't have to prove anything to me, but like to see that massive improvement year in and year out, I think is huge. And I just don't think we've seen that yet from Witt. So him to take that next step and like actively show that he's legitimately a better wide receiver from last year will go a long way too. But CJ Daniels, man, I think that he is going to surprise some people this season. I think that he's going to be one of those guys where it's like, damn, dude, I can't believe the Rams were able to pull this guy off late. So yeah, I kind of am with you there, but I just need to see it on an NFL field. It's one of those things where we could take a look at like college highlights and college tape all the time and be like, man, this guy's going to be phenomenal. But you could even do that with like a Jamarcus Russell where it's like, damn, dude, he made some throws those are NFL throws, Tavon Austin, who I will always love and be a massive fan of, but he was never like a big hit in the NFL outside of those, splash plays and splash games and stuff. But I mean, he's got one of the most exciting college highlights of all time. You know what I mean? If you play Hellenbach, I'm literally I'm picturing Tavon Austin juke ankles off of people's bodies. That made sense. So I need to see it on a real live football field before I'm willing to just be like, yep, he's awesome, he's good to go. Because I can't just blindly think that Rams are gonna just hit just because they're Rams. You know what I mean? I think too many times I've seen this team take a Greg Robinson or an Alex Barron, a Jason Smith, a Ty Hill, to be like, yeah, absolutely, we nailed it. You know what I mean? Gotta see it first. And those guys are all first round picks. This guy's obviously later. So the initial, like, is he that sick is not as demanding going into year one. But I think he is very, very talented. He makes some of them crazy catches, man. I've related him mostly to Brandon Lloyd so far as like my best comp on CJ Daniels, but I like it, man. Farbode. Next one here from Farbode. So, have you come to peace with the Simpson pick just yet like myself? I've accepted that we won't be picking that high anytime soon, so we have potential Stafford replacement. Hope it works out. I was there the second the pick came in. I was like, boom, dude, we did the damn thing, man. With our first round picks, we got a backup quarterback who could potentially turn into our quarterback of the future. And we turned one of them first round picks into to Trent McDuffie. Basically, the way that I've seen the pick this entire time was the Rams got that first round pick from the Atlanta Falcons the previous year, part of the whole Terrence Ferguson trade and all that stuff, trading back out. Where they wanted to come back into the first and get a guy. That's not working out. Could have been us, you know what I'm saying? So the way that I see that is we shouldn't have gotten a first round pick from Atlanta. That's crazy. The fact that they threw in an extra first is like, all right, yeah, dude, obviously we're going to take that all day. So I see it as a freebie pick. So if you have a freebie pick, if they're just like, if we didn't have the trade from the previous year, we just took Terrence Ferguson in the first round and all that stuff, and then out of nowhere, it's 14th pick, and they're just like, you know what? Hey, something happened. Rams, you go ahead and pick somebody. It's like, oh crap. What do we do here? It's like, dude, you've been like, dude, free pick. Might as well get our backup quarterback, man. We don't have one right now. That's phenomenal, man. So I'm behind the pick immediately. I already was. I see a lot of these people that are like, well, if he doesn't turn into Tom Brady, there's a waste. Dude, we wasted picks on players that were supposed to be good also before. So who cares? All those names I just talked about, Ty Hill, Jason Smith, Alex Barron, Greg Robinson. So like, would you rather take them instead because they're in a position that could have helped us this year? Absolutely not. So no, I'm with you. I was there immediately. I was there step one, day one. The second this pick happened, everybody I was with was like, oh no, Joe's going to be pissed. And I was like, yo, let's go, man. Like, so, and also we might need him. Who knows, dude? The idea is that we won't need him this year, but what if he does turn into that guy? And also, I think that part of my brain goes to, do you think Sean McVay and Les Snead are going to sign off on a quarterback round one if they don't really believe that he could be the guy? Plus, Stafford could play for 5 more years, dude. We could be sitting here trying to decide if we extend Ty Simpson because we don't know what he looks like yet because Stafford's still playing ball. Which, in fairness, you could consider a wasted pick at that point. But still, I'm still with it, man. I was immediately in on this pick, no doubt. So I think it's a great pick. I honestly do. He's probably going to be QB3 this year and not play at all, even if something did happen to Stafford. Still think it's a good pick. You got to zoom out, dude. Pinch that screen a little bit. You're too, but not you, obviously, Forebode. But people are like, well, this doesn't help us today. And it's like, well, yeah, zoom out, bro. It's like, I understand that we're very Super Bowl or bust and stuff like that, but like the Super Bowl is going to end. And no matter what happens, whether it's us celebrating or not, all 32 teams still just get ready for an off season and try to do it again. You know what I mean? So like, if we go all the way and Stafford's like, dude, you know what? Got an MVP under my belt, got 2 Super Bowls now, we're good to go, I'm getting out of here. Then it's like, well, good thing we got a guy who knows our system now for a whole year, and we're not just drafting a rookie who is just coming in blind. Boom. Give me that check mark all day, dude. Hell yes. Last one here from Farbode. This says, do you see us signing a tackle like that ex-Lions tackle that played with Stafford? with all this Alaric stuff happening. Okay, so this was a little bit ago. The question, of course, like I said, some of these weren't always going to be completely relevant, but it says, I'm leaning towards McClendon taking a whack at left tackle and letting that rookie we drafted or one of the other guys go ahead and take a right tackle. Yeah, I don't hate that at all, man. And first, especially if that means we have more money to pay AD. Yeah, man, that's so obviously the Alaric stuff, I'm coming to terms with. I don't think anything's going to happen, but that's also why I refuse to react until it's time to react. We don't have to react initially, you know what I mean? And I know that that's not the way the world is right now, where this information comes out and everybody's like, "How do you feel about this? What do you think about this?" And like, I don't know how. I don't have opinions right now, man. Like, I'm still waiting to see what happens, see what comes out of this. You know, I don't know. I don't know what I think yet because I have about 10% of the information. And then I see some other shows on here. Like I try to catch some low shows that, you know, that have like just a couple, like dozen views on them or something like that. See what they're saying. And I see people on here that are like, I am done with AJ Jackson. Get him off my team. I don't want to see him play here again. And it's like, we don't even know what happened, dude. We don't know what happened. That's crazy to me that people just react that strongly to it. And then on the opposite end, people are like, I don't care what he's done. He's a good football player. And it's like, well, let's have good humans in the building too. I think that's reasonable. But yeah, to just throw him out and just be like, yeah, nope, hate him, done, get him out of here. I hate him, hate his guts, hate his life. It's like, well, we don't know what happened. So we still don't know what happened, man. All we know is that there's no felony charges. Everything seems to be getting dropped slowly here. Restraining order got pulled. So that's kind of where we're at with stuff, man. That's our knowledge base right now is that everything's kind of going away. So if something does happen, if the Rams do decide to suspend him, because that's still not an impossibility. But if that's the case, then I do think that it's worth noting that the Rams absolutely have guys that they can shift around. But what you mentioned there, the dude that he used to play with, I want to say was that Decker, not in football shape, not close. It's kind of funny to see so many names like Taylor Lewan and stuff like that. It's like, dude, he has not been working out for football. He would need months to get back into shape. We would be better off just using one of our depth guys, a Quessenberry, instead of one of these guys. You know what I mean? Like, I know the name Taylor Lewan sounds real big and flashy and stuff like that, but like, in order to get him playing football, man, he probably wouldn't be really into football shape and physically there until probably November, if I had to guess. And that's me not knowing his body that well. That'd be weird if I did. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of aspects to it. But Decker is one of those that's like kind of fallen off of it. That we see that a lot, man. I know Jason Brown was one of them. Jacob Bell was another one of them, former Rams, where like they leave being an offensive lineman and just within a few months they're like skinny dudes, you know? And it's like, damn, dude, that shows how much they were doing to maintain this level. Like that was their job, was to be a strong, big human being. You know what I mean? And I think we're already seeing it with Rob Havenstein. He's already looking smaller than he was playing at. Witt definitely got smaller, but not by a whole ton, but I think he still does a lot. Aaron Donald's not one of those guys. He still looks the same. Physically, he looks the same. But yeah, like, Jacob Bell is one of my biggest ones. Cause it's like looking at him like, oh my God, I can't believe he was an offensive lineman in the NFL, man. That one was a crazy one, seeing him, when he was trying to open his restaurants and stuff. But, yeah, man. So I think that a lot of people are pulling these old names where it's like, they're not even remotely ready, guys. It's funny too, though. We see like offensive linemen will get way smaller, and then like wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, they just chub out like right away. That's so funny. Not for them, probably. They probably hate me saying that, but whatever. What are you going to do about it? They're all fat and slow now. When do you catch me? I'm like Tavon Austin, dude. All right, heading over to the Facebook page here, or the YouTube channel, excuse me. We're just gonna go down this list. We're just gonna let the algorithm decide how these fall in order. First one here coming from Payo Time. Shout out Payo. It says, one of my favorite things about following the Rams an unhealthy amount, shout out, represent, is how much I've come to enjoy preseason football. It is so much fun. It says, I really enjoy the Rams don't really play starters that much, so we can see players striving to make the team. it's also nice to cheer on the Rams when winning or losing really doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, I way prefer the games that matter, but what's your take on preseason? I love preseason because I understand what preseason is, and I think that a lot of people get a little bit confused on the act of these games. They are practice. They are practice games. It's televised practice. It's a televised scrimmage. It doesn't mean anything. You're not calling plays to try to win a football game. You're calling plays based on situation. You're like, you know what? It's 3rd and 6. Stetson Bennett out here. We're going to get him with Xavier and CJ Daniels out wide. We're going to put Max Clare at tight end while we've got Jarquez Hunter in the backfield. We're going to call, flood right, to get, so he's not going backside or anything like that. So it's flood right and just try to see how it goes. You're just pulling situations, dude. Situations and scenarios. You're just trying to see what kind of fits and stuff like that. Trying to see what happens if this blitz comes. How does Stetson Bennett handle that? You know what I mean? Like, is he quick on the check down, or is he able to throw into the blitz and pick up a first down? Like, what are we seeing here, man? So the situational aspect of it is exactly what I like. You get to 3 minutes in the first half and you're like, hell yeah, dude, let's run a drive here. Let's see. Because it's also the coaches getting back to the vibe, and also the way that the Rams handle it. You'll get a guy that hasn't called a game in maybe years. Maybe the last time he called a game was in high school or something, or for a college team. And now he's calling. I'm sure we're going to see Shieldhouse call a game. That's going to be a thing. I don't know the last time Shieldhouse called a game. I'd have to look into it. But we're probably going to see that. And it's good for him too, to kind of get used to the vibe of calling something and figuring it out. Maybe Kingsbury gets a game where he calls the offense. Who knows, dude? So I like that aspect of it. I like that it's practice. I like to see the low-level guys fighting for a roster spot and just to kind of see how it unfolds, man. But yeah, preseason is just that. It is practice games, and I think that's why I like them so much. I don't ever even look at the score, really. I don't even pay attention to it. Touchdowns are cool and stuff like that, but it's not one of those things that matters. I think that I would rather see the team put players in more situations so that, CJ Daniels and stuff like that are seeing these crazy situations in a game rather than actually just going for a touchdown. It's like, yeah, let's pull a fade here with, Ty Simpson to CJ Daniels instead of just calling a crosser or a quick slant to Mump, just because I want to see the situation. Let's just see how they do it. You know what I mean? Like, we know that Ty Simpson can throw a slant 3 yards in front of him. Cool. But where can he place this fade? You know what I mean? So that's why the scores don't matter. So I like the preseason, but that's the kind of reasons why I like the preseason, is because you get to watch practice unfold in real time where there's downs and times and stuff like that. And, you can't just be like, run that one again. Like, it's just, you get one shot at that rep and that's it. So that's what I like about it. From Rams House, whose house says, if Trent McDuffie were a candy, what candy would he be? I've had a hard time with this one. I've been thinking about this one a little bit. And Trent McDuffie is definitely powerful but smaller. And I feel like I've used this candy before for people, but I'm going to go ahead and give me Warheads for Trent McDuffie, because it's also an absolute powerhouse. You know what I mean? It's one of those candies where everybody knows it. Everybody knows how good it is, knows how extreme it is, know how much it can kick you right in the jugular, but also afterwards, it's going to be real nice. It's going to be nice. You know what I mean? So Trent McDuffie is Warheads. He's going to punch you in the mouth, dude. But he's going to do it in a good way. I stand by that one. All right. There's one from Payo time. YouTube algorithm thinks it's best to just go back and forth. Let's see here. Rams running back question. What percentage would you guess is there that both Kyren and Blake rush for more than 850 yards this season? For reference, Kyren had 1252. Blake had 746 last season. Puka was Puka was third with 106. Says, love the show. Dude, love your show. 850 feels real. And a lot of that comes because we are getting the information that it seems to be, we're going to be looking at a pretty hefty 50-50 split between our two running backs. So for that reason, I would say that it's realistic. We did a thing on Both Horns where Tuna actually said that he thinks one of his hot takes is that both the running backs get 1,000 yards this season. And I agreed. So I think that we kind of know that Matthew Stafford is one of those guys who can absolutely do anything on the football field, but also he's going to be 38. And it's one of those where it's like, okay, well, let's kind of protect him a little bit. Like, even though he can sling it around, it's like, well, maybe we don't have to. We can run a lot of 13 personnel. We got 2 really, really good running backs and wide receivers who can block pretty damn good as well. So maybe let's try to protect him a little bit. Let's try to see if we can extend him and keep him good all season, feeling fresh all season. So for that reason, I do think that they both hit 850, man. Rams house, whose house? Favorite kicker plays you remember in Rams history? I love this stuff, man. So my first thing that came to my brain was NFC Championship game. I've got the Greg Zuerlein jersey right behind the camera here from the Super Bowl, where Greg Zuerlein was able to kick the ball to go into overtime, then kick the ball to win it in overtime, send the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then became the only player who scored in that game for the Rams. So for me to have his Super Bowl Media Day jersey sitting here, that's one of the best things that I own for sure. That's one of them. That's way up there. I'll say Matt Gay kicking the ball against the Bucks in the playoffs. I will say Greg Zuerlein in the game against the Niners. The Rams we were at home for this one. We were in our throwback uniforms in St. Louis. I want to say this was 2014 or 15. And we had just tied the 49ers like 3 weeks before. So it was like the most agitating thing ever. Luckily, we got to play them again, and the game went into overtime. And Greg Zuerlein hitting the overtime kick with like 26 seconds to go. It was very little time left. And if he missed it, like, chances are we just tie with the Niners again, like back to back. It took the Rams almost 10 full quarters to beat the Niners one time. And it was so exciting, man. But Greg Zuerlein in that one, that's absolute pinnacle business. Week 1, I think it was 2002, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff Wilkins. We played the Broncos, which is always a fun thing for me being a Colorado native. We were playing the Broncos, and I think it was 16. No, it would have been 18-10, I believe, or that feels right. 18-10 feels right, where Jeff Wilkins scored field goals and we didn't score any other points, but we beat the Broncos. They scored a touchdown, and I want to say it was like Monty Ball scoring. No, is that too late? Monty Ball? I'm trying to think, man. One of their running backs had like a short run. It was only like a 1 or 2 yard touchdown run, but Jeff Wilkins just kept booting it through, dude. That was absolutely awesome. So that's one of them up there for sure. Wilkins had a few kicks in his time where I really loved it, but I always saw those on replays. I never got to see him live. You know what I mean? That was like during the time where it was harder to watch every game. So yeah, but those are up there in my favorite kicks. All right, let's see here. From Payo Time. Rank the following, you would say, take my money to, from first thing you would spend money on to the last thing. Let's take a look here. We got a Lego set of SoFi, a book written by Les Snead. Let's Make a Deal Snead. That would have to be the title. A motivational seminar with Sean McVay. Concert tickets to hear Kobe Turner and other Rams players sing. And a day at a theme park with other Rams content creators. I feel like you're guiding me to say that one most, but that one, I'm not a huge theme park guy. I'm really not. But let me go through these here. So the first thing I'd spend money on is concert tickets to hear Kobe Turner and other Rams players sing. I would try to figure out what I could do to try to play. I feel like you guys always see what I'm doing up here, like where my eyes are. I have a Kobe Turner signed jersey up here. I got my Greg Zuerlein here. I got a couple of Dickersons there, Stafford and a Cortland Finnegan. And this kind of just embraces a lot of different eras. And I always just like, when I talk about Kobe Turner, I look over at his jersey. Anyway, yeah, I would love that, man. I would also try to see if I can get on stage, though, because I play guitar, and that'd be really fun. Next up, I would go a book written by Les Make a Deal Snead. I would absolutely love that. Next, I would go, so middle of the pack here, I would go with the motivational seminar with Sean McVay. The reason this is middle of the road is because I I feel like I know what he would say already. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, that's not true. He's going to give you stuff that's like, damn, I was not expecting that. But I think that it's a lot of above the neck, a lot of stuff like that, stacking blocks and such, and it's like, I think I get it. I think next up, I would go with a day at a theme park with other Rams content creators. And that's because it feels hot. It feels like a sweaty Joe day. And I'm sure it'd be a blast. That's all, I guess. I don't know. It'd be definitely fun, man. Definitely fun. Not a bad time by any means, but I think I would rather do other stuff with these content creators. You know what I mean? And then last up is going to be a Lego set of SoFi. Not that this isn't dope as hell, but first, where the hell am I going to put this thing? I'm running out of space here, my guy. Second, is it pre-built or do I need to build it? And I realize that probably Lego people, Lego heads, if I imagine what they're called, it probably are like, what? That the building, it's the cool part. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't really care. So that's last for me. It would take me probably years to even try to start building it. And then even then, I have a cat who would probably eat at least one piece, and then it's just a mess after that. You know what I mean? Or he's going to bat it under the fridge, and then it's just gone forever, and, stuff like that. But also, I've just never been Lego guy. My uncle, rest in peace, he was big Lego guy. He had a bunch of stuff around his apartment and stuff, and he loved it, man. That was kind of how he zoned out and kind of just escaped. Kind of like, I guess this would be my Lego set, right? Ram Showcase. It's for him, that's what he would do. He would get home from like lame, stressful day at work, stuff like that, and he'd start building Legos, man. And that was his thing. So, yeah, funniest human being I've ever met in my life, too. Good dude, Uncle Matt. Let's see here. Yep, got some here from Ram's house. Excuse me. Says, what are some of your favorite NFL players from the time you started watching football closely? Great question, dude. Great question. So I started watching football closely about 2000, about the turn of the century. That's why I say I wasn't really a Rams fan when they won that first Super Bowl in 99. I was mainly just a Marshall Faulk fan because that was my guy. Marshall Faulk was the man. Watched him with the Colts. I was like, this dude's exciting as hell, man. So really, really liked that. I could have easily stayed just been a lifelong Colts fan. That was absolutely in the realm of possibilities for me, man. If Marshall would have stayed there, they had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. I would have got so locked in, dude. But Marshall Faulk went over to the Rams, and at that point, I was way more into Marshall than I was any other team. So Marshall was my guy. That's what brought me over to the Rams. And then he immediately fell in love with Torrey Holt. Right away was like, I like this guy. And it was his rookie season, him coming over. So it was like, this guy rules, man. Isaac Bruce obviously was one of them. But I feel like you guys kind of know my players in the for like the Rams specifically. So let me give you some others outside of the Rams that were just kind of like, I loved these dudes. Like, I just thought these guys are absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to go Marvin Harrison. I just absolutely loved him. Junior Seau, Terrell Davis. There's a bunch of Chargers in there just because of my dad and stuff like that. My dad being the Charger fan, I watched them a lot. So it's like Rodney Harrison and stuff like that it's like absolute monsters. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis were way up there. Rod Smith for the Broncos was way up there. He never really took off, but Ashley Lalee for the Broncos, I was a really big fan of. I had a signed picture by him. Trying to think of that era too, man. I liked a lot of wide receivers. Joey Galloway sticks out to me. Wide receivers and running backs were kind of my thing back then. Yeah, Joey Galloway. I'm trying to think. Like Rondé Barber was super dope. Yeah, I think you kind of get the gist of it. But yeah, those are my favorite quarterbacks were McNabb, McNair. I really liked. Trying to think in that time specifically. I always liked Breeze. Breeze was always one of my favorite guys to watch. I just thought he was really just crazy good at seeing the field. It was something I couldn't understand with his height, and sometimes it was like you could see like the angle behind him, and it's like you cannot see over these linemen. How the hell is he placing this ball so perfectly? It's kind of impressive to me, man. So yeah, a lot of those guys. I almost want to take more time on this one, but I'm gonna move on. But that's a fun one, man. Okay, next one here from Rams House. This question will take some projection. Remember how Bill Belichick always did a fantastic job of taking away an offense's number one receiver? What do you think would happen if the great Patriot team of the 2010s matched up against this Rams team? To be more specific, how do you think this game would play out if the 2018 Patriots team matched up against the 2026 Rams team, assuming we meet our potential? I think it's obvious to assume that this Rams team / coaching staff would have a much better chance of beating that 2018 Patriots team, given that game was still close even with the injuries to Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp, etc. How do you think the game would play out from a stylistic game flow perspective? And do we see Puka or Devontae Adams have over 100 yards receiving? Loaded up question here. Let's take it piece by piece here. So, what do I think would happen if the Patriots, like they're being really good in the 2010s, taking on this team now? That's tough because it's also a little bit of a different league, and the league does move real fast. And a lot of the stuff that we were doing in 2018 that the Patriots were able to just stifle, we've already moved on from. So I do think that there would be something to be said about the experience of this team and the coaching staff, Sean McVay, namely, to just be able to handle that situation differently and better, which I do think is completely realistic. That game was certainly close. The Rams defense did a phenomenal job that day. And I think it's just one of those lame things where we talk about a lot. It's like, if you would have told me the Rams are going to hold that 2018 Patriots team to 13 points, how you feeling? It's like, yo, this offense, we're scoring like 30 points a game. Hell yeah, dude. So that's a heartbreaker. But I think that with this team, this year specifically, I just think that we are better than any team from the 2000s right now. I don't think that any team could come into the 2026 Rams and handle it. You know what I'm saying? So I think this team is way too stacked right now. And again, the league has shifted quite a bit from that 2018 timeframe. Do I see Puka or Devontae having over 100 yards? I'll tell you what, man. I think that Puka is just a different kind of human being, and I think that Puka would be the one to go over 100 yards. He just does things that people can't do, man. So I think that it would be Puka going over 100, and I think that the Rams would win that game if we had this team today. If we have Stafford throwing to Devontae and Puka with K-Dub in the backfield, I just think that that's a better football team. Obviously, Todd Gurley, but he was hurt in that situation. So yeah, difficult question always, obviously, but I do think that I always look at it too of like what of the Rams teams, and you can take out eras and stuff like that, obviously, because you get to a certain point where it's like, yeah, we can look at way back into 2000 and stuff like that, but like it's so different now, the way everything's run, the way teams are run, the way training is done, like all that stuff. People aren't chugging beers on Saturdays anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're taking care of their bodies a little bit better. So if you remove that aspect of it, I always look at like 99 Rams, 01 Rams, 18 Rams, 21 Rams, and then potentially 26 Rams. It's like, what is the best team of this? And it's like, I kind of feel like it's this one, man. Like we got MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, stuff like that coming in this year. It feels like this might be the best team that we've ever had. So I think that we could beat all of our old teams, which would mean that we could beat those teams. That checks out. Next one here from Rams House. Payo style question here. You are assigned to make a 7-man flag football team to compete against other flag football teams featuring past and present NFL players. Your team roster must be made up of Rams players in the last 20 years, so from 2006 until now. Who are the 7 Rams players you would choose to make this team? Remember, you're competing against 31 other NFL teams that have a 7-man roster of past and present players from their respective history. I'm assuming also from just 20 years back. So if we go all the way back to 2006, we do have a pretty open area here for high flying action. Trying to make sure I nail it here. Give me Todd Gurley, Puka Nacua, prime Cooper Kupp, like 21 Kupp. Give me Give me like 17, 18 Robert Woods. Give me friggin' today Matthew Stafford, dude. I already have 5. Let me get some maniacs on defense here. Since 06, yeah, you can give me James Laurinaitis, man. I just need somebody smart out there, just dissecting plays. And then give me Trent McDuffie, man. I know that we haven't seen him out and stuff like that yet, but I got a crazy good feeling about him. And not in the same way that I had a crazy good feeling about Tre'Davious White, okay? I know that somebody's out there being like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And yeah, true, you're right. But also, I feel really good about Trent McDuffie, and just let me have that, all right? So those are my 7. Repeat them because I already forgot. Thank you. Nailed it. Our next one here from Rams House. Do you believe Davante Adams will have an even better year for the Rams in 2026? Obviously, it depends on how you quantify better. I'm asking from an overall involvement, statistical, and feel perspective. I understand exactly what you're saying. The feel, I get you, dude. Says, we all know Davante led the league with 14 touchdowns. 14 in parentheses. I appreciate you doing that. But there was a lot of meat left on the bone, in my opinion. I think a lot of people forget the fact that Davante and Stafford never got any time in camp to work on the chemistry aspects of things. That first half of the season featured so many drops. Bro, you said a mouthful there. Just about everything I wanted to say there is the fact that we didn't get a training camp with Stafford and Davante. So now they're coming into a season in a different world entirely. They're coming into a season where they have now some chemistry and some backing to say they know each other a little bit better now. I think that Puka being Puka, I think still pulls enough eyeballs away that Davante can absolutely just do whatever the hell he wants to out there, which is very fun stuff. He can win in a phone booth, but he can also moss the hell out of your soul. So it's good news. What I would say is I do think he has a better year in 26 based on feel, based on statistics, and overall involvement. I just feel like he's the kind of guy that will want to keep fresh as the year goes on. So maybe as far as number of reps, it'll maybe be about the same or lower, but I just think that how we utilize Davante Adams in this offense is going to be dramatically different. I think that we'll still see that red zone stuff, but I think it's going to be a lot more middle of the field stuff coming open to Davante between the 20s. I just think he gets more involved this year than he did last year. And just kind of feels like that's the normal course of action here, man. So it kind of felt like they knew, like Stafford knew that, okay, on this route, this time, this situation, he can get open. I'm going to put the ball here. He can go get it kind of thing in the red zone. But now it just feels like a little bit more history with each other. So yeah, I do think that Davante Adams has a better statistical year. My bold prediction, my hot take on both horns was that Davante Adams will again lead the NFL in touchdown receptions. So that tells you kind of how I feel about Davante going into this year. I just feel like it's one of those things that, it's just, it can't get worse in my opinion. Based on the experience, they're just too smart, man. Stafford and Davante, it's sure, they're getting older and stuff like that, but I just think they're too smart of players to not improve year after year. If their bodies say one thing, that is one thing, but that's kind of where I'm seeing. Let's see here. Muad'Dib says, what are your favorite camp activities? To which I said, I'm going to need you to elaborate. And he said training camp, not talking about s'mores. And then I followed up, said, for fans? Because I've never been to camp. I've only been to Broncos training camp, and I went one day. Only one time that I went to Broncos camp. And it was fun. It was cool. It was hot, miserable. I was sweaty and stuff like that. They still had Noah Fant. I remember that because they were selling jerseys and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. But this is where I kind of just want you to respond, I guess, is what are the best camp activities? What are camp activities? Because I know that there's things to do, but I'm kind of just a dork who just wants to watch the reps. I just want to watch, I just want to pick out some players to pay attention to, guys who I think are going to pop this year or something like that. And then just start watching them closely and then kind of just check out the other guys and see if anybody else is looking like they're different from a year ago. Seeing if anybody's taken the off season to get better or if they were relaxing and just kind of hanging out, So That's kind of how I feel like I would do it. I love training camp stuff. I think that football is like, I think everybody views football as the game, and fair, totally reasonable. But I've always kind of viewed football too from this perspective of like, football is practice. Football is hitting the same rep over and over and over again on a practice field while there's 10 dudes out there. Football is in a dark room, rewinding and watching the same play over and over, trying to figure out what exactly are they trying to take away, and if you do this, how do you think that they'll react and stuff like that? Like, that's football. Being on the practice field is football. Being in the weight room is football, and all of that stuff is football. And I love all of those things. You know what I mean? So the training camp thing, it's just another thing that is football, and it's all cool with me. I think that answers your question. I think. GP Shadow coming in here with our final queso of this evening says, what's your favorite game to rewatch from last season? Favorite game to rewatch from last season? I wouldn't, there's a few of them that are really fun, man. I probably go the 2 playoff games we won though. The Panthers and the Bears games are really, really fun to watch. That Bears game especially, man, because when you go back and like just rewatch it and realize like how cold it really was there, and just the way that the team handled it, man, that's one of my favorite ways to because it's the whole story. And I talked about it all week, man. It was like, well, it's cold for them too, man. It's not like they're coming in and feeling 50 degrees just because they live in Chicago. Still sucks, dude. Like, I'm from Colorado. It still gets cold as hell, man. Like, you're not just immune to cold because you're from there. Because your address is in a city. And also, not everybody's from Chicago that plays for that damn team, dude. They're starting quarterbacks from Southern California. So I hated that whole storyline the whole time. But it's like to see the Rams come out in that cold, which is a impactful level of cold, and just deal with it and just play football. I absolutely loved it, man. You get some of them plays in there, some of the big hits. So like that tackle from Quentin, man, that was unbelievable. You get the pick by Cam Curl. It's like, man, some plays where it's like, dude, you don't do that on a normal day. You do that because you're a damn champion, man. And I know we didn't go all the way, but like, that's the kind of plays that you make as a champion. And in some ways, that's kind of how I felt about that team. Like, participation trophies and stuff like that aside, but it's like, I felt like that last year's team was a championship level team. And I feel like we got better this year. So, but that's one of the games where it's like, oh yeah, man, we're winners, man. This team is full of winners. And just happened to be that we ran into a damn good football team in Seattle who was able to take it the whole way. So, and then you get those comments from like Jared Verse and stuff after the game, which even pisses me off even to this day, man. But oh well, it's all good. But yeah, that's it, man. Thank you for your fan quesos. Like I said, you can always drop those on the Ram Showcase YouTube channel, also the Ram Showcase Facebook page. We post it there as well. You can be my friend on Facebook. I always share it. Edwin has been not seeing these posts, I think. Edwin, emphasis on the win. So we'll make sure that I'll reach out to him specifically to make sure he's seeing these as well. But yes, make sure you're checking me out on both horns. That is a few times a week. That is a live stream, so there's a little bit more interactivity with it than Ram Showcase. But Ram Showcase, we're getting into that season time, man. I'm cooking up a bunch of my graphics and stuff right now for the season, for the game previews and all that stuff, which is what I feel like is my bread and butter. So fired up about that, man. Making sure that the game previews are high quality, high standard, because that's what y'all deserve, man. The best of the best. That's what I'll try to give to you, man. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Aaron Donald, potential return. Hopefully we see that here soon, man. I'm hopeful. I think it's going to happen. Largely, though, I'm just hopeful because he could easily just be like, nah, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not going to be that guy again. I can't do it, man. So I'll be around, though. And it's like, damn. No. So that's absolutely a possibility. But appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your off season. We'll be back with you rather soon, though. I promise. But that is going to do it for me. Oh, wait. Make sure you follow along on all your favorite social media. At Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. Come hang out with me, man. Say what up, and let's get fired up for what should be a pretty damn good Rams football season. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.